It's like a warm up. It's like a warm up. Hey, what's up, world? It's the Wes Smith Variety ShYo with Agent 137 and Wes,
Hi.
myself. Today, our special guest is missing at the moment, so we're just gonna hang out a little bit. And I was actually missing the entire last episode, so thousands of you know that.
That's okay. We had our 15 minutes.
Hang out with Ron and Kelly and I decided we're just going to talk about, instead of hanging out talking, waiting around, we'll just hang out and talk about DJ things and a few things coming up. What do I have coming up? What do I have coming up that I can talk about?
You have Game On Tour Orlando.
Yes, Game On Tour Orlando. That is the
29th.
29th, Saturday, right?
Correct.
Saturday the 29th of April, Orlando at Peak downtown. Get in. We just came off Seattle. That was a lot of fun at the Underground. Thanks for everyone that came out there. A really cool underground, as in under the ground venue in a basement. All kinds of arches and brick and things. Great sound system. A lot of fun. Thank you, Mark, the manager, getting everything sorted. And so ShYo and I did that along with, who played that with us? It was Sol Calderon and Joey Webb and Ian Powers. Yeah, it was awesome. A lot of fun. House and breaks all night long. Let's see. Then we tried to find a pizza place. That's hard to do after 3 a.m., maybe in most cities, but definitely in Seattle. So we drove around, and then I realized I had a little bit more maybe to drink than I thought because I was looking at Yelp and ShYo was looking at something else. And I finally found this place. I said, Gio's. And they're like, that's got to be a pizza place. I'm like, it has to be. And the person driving us, it was Sol. And he's like, I don't know, man. I don't think I heard of that. He's like, but sounds Italian. Let's go. It's open till 4. I was like, great, let's go. So we cruise over there. It takes about 10 minutes. We get there. He drops us off, takes off because they didn't want to eat anything. ShYo and I go in, sit down, and then we open up the menu, and it's all vegetarian, like vegan. Except for corned beef hash. That was the only thing with meat on it. But we're like, there's no pizza. We're like, how does a place called Gio's have no pizza? And then ShYo looks at the menu and she's like, it's Glow's Diner. like Glow from the 40s.
Oh, Flo? You mean Flo?
Like Glow, like GLO, like Gloria or something, like short for.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like Mel's Diner, Kiss My.
Nothing to do with the pizza, Italian, or anything else to do with like Gio, G-I-O. Anyway, I was like, oh, I read that wrong. Sorry. So we had the saltiest corned beef hash on the planet, which was a great idea at the time. Not such a great idea at like 8 a.m.
The next day, yeah.
Yeah.
You woke up and you were like this.
But Seattle was cool because, well, it was just cool. It was a fun place. A lot of the usual suspects came out. A couple people, Blacklist was there. Kelly, you know Blacklist.
Hi, Justin. Yep. Hi.
He was there. Dot Diggler. Dot
Diggler, yeah.
Sunday night party, Fractured. Shout out Fractured crew coming by. That was fun. And I got a T-shirt from them. I didn't bring it with me today, but if you go to Seattle and you're looking for Broken Beat, check out Fractured. I think it's at damn, I can't remember the name of the venue it's at. But anyway, Fractured, Fractured, is how that's spelled. Check out those fine people. We went to, I learned a new word, Kelly. Do you know this term, pre-funk?
No.
Never heard it in my life. It's got to be a Northwestern thing. Because everyone was saying, hey, we got a pre-funk here, we got a pre-funk there. And I'm thinking like F-U-N-K. But it's apparently F-U-N-C, like a pre-function.
Oh, pre-function. Okay.
I guess. So, pre-party. Why not just say that? Well, because it's not really a party. It's like a function. Anyway, so we met up with a bunch of ShYo's pals from Burning Man Land, from Hippocampus. Do you remember that? Do you remember that camp?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hippocampus? Yeah, so that's where they're from. And I think some of ShYo's friends either started it or pretty instrumental in it or whatever. But they had these potluck dinners, and it was cool. They all got together, like, I don't know, maybe 20 people or something. And, we just ate, had a couple beers, some real nice rum, Keen rum. And then they all came over later. So a little bit more of the story. I guess we'll tell stories today because that's what we do. And I usually don't get to tell all like the whole event story. So here you go.
Go for it.
So another piece of the event story was that we ShYo's friend took us to the pre-funk, and everything was fine until we went to leave, and then she couldn't find her keys. So ShYo had brought her bag with her, and mine was in the car. So of course my bag's locked in the car now, and no one could find the keys. So we end up we're about 15 minutes from the venue at this point. So we try to get a lift, and then we couldn't get a lift, and then she was going to bring my bag later after she got AAA or whoever to unlock the car, right? Oops. So anyway, then I learned a new thing that Lyft, apparently Lyft, well, it should be no surprise, people drive for Lyft and Uber.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes sense that they shouldn't be on both at the same time. So ShYo was on Lyft, and this driver was all lost cruising around. So I'm like, I'll get on Uber and find a guy. So I get on Uber, and I, hit the pin, and it finds a driver, and I'm like, ShYo, looks like this driver's the same exact place as your driver, going in circles. Dude had both of them on, and he was lost. So we canceled that, and then we got another one, and then we went. And then it gets even better. So her friend that drove us, she had a little bit to drink, I think. So Uber or Lyft from that party as well to the venue. Okay. She found her keys, but she didn't drive. So you know what's coming. She gets to the venue, she's partying, hanging out, and I'm like, hey, Teresa, what's up? Do you have my bag? She's like, oh, it's still in my car.
Oh my God.
So she Ubers back to the house and back. 45 minutes later, my bag arrives, like 30 minutes before I'm supposed to play. It was
awesome. Damn.
So when people talk about those DJ what stories?
Yeah, damn. That was
DJ what story? So, Kelly, tell us, tell us some stories about Miami. It's your turn.
So I think you were looking for creme work for Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is that the place?
Creme work, yeah. And before you tell your story, also coming up is New York. Awesome, excited to go play that with Moniker, Clem Lee, Tech Tight, Chewy, of course, on the tour, and we'll be at Sunnyvale. Agent 137 might have to step in and guest up. We don't know yet. Anyway, that's May 13th.
All right, May 13th. How was Juice Day Out?
You all there? Oh man, so much has happened. Good thing. Has it been that long since we did a show, or just?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I think Vitamin B might have been the last one that you were attending. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. 4 weeks ago. So Juice Day Out was awesome. It was fun. We basically sold out with what we had planned to do. We actually oversold a little bit. We were trying to get 100 in there because they never threw an event on this rooftop before, so they didn't actually know what the capacity was. Like they just had seated capacity and stuff. But anyway, so we were shooting for 100. I think we did like 110, something like that. It was awesome. Joe P, Omega Squad, and then Evlo and Colin and myself. We all threw down. A local affair. Beautiful day. The weather was on our side. Tacos were flowing. Wait, tacos can't flow. Tacos were moving.
Tequila.
Tacos were sliding. And tequila was flowing. That's better.
Awesome.
Jellyfish were looking sharp. I meant to write an article, a little recap, but I got sick after that, of course, like happens after all Sunday day parties.
Oh, really?
And, and then I was getting ready for Seattle, so I just got behind. But anyway, that's it. Tell me about Miami. That's it for all the announcements. Oh, I have a huge announcement. I have a big project coming out April 25th, but I didn't see it public.
Something in the works.
I didn't see it public yet, so I don't think I'm supposed to talk about it. Anyway, seems pretty close. Seems like I could, but just hold on. Hold on. It's coming soon.
It's coming soon. Actually, I have Touchdown with Frank. He's about to call in, so I'll just tell you what I've got coming up. Tomorrow at the Keep, we're playing on this awesome sound system. It's I don't know. It's in the ceiling. I could not do it justice by describing it, except for it's super, super badass. We're doing a Junglist revival. And I'm playing with Shaky and Alexandra, Tech Tight, and Big Ears.
it.
It is so exciting. And then I know that he's watching right now, but we've got Fault Line Sessions, Eric Rigsby. I think he's probably watching right now. It's a guess. He's doing a series of breakbeat
Mixes, right?
sessions to, supplement, I guess, the live show, and those are up on SoundCloud, and mine's coming up in 2 months, so he's coming out with one every month, and it's the 007 version. Yeah, so I'm super excited about that. I told Frank,
go watch his video game themed based podcast talk thing. It's pretty cool. Select Start with Eric Rigsby.
Start with Eric Rigsby. You can subscribe to it at Eric Rigsby. And while you're at it, subscribe to Wes Smith too, so you can watch these in the future.
Coming to you from Oakland.
So I just got a message from Gio. He heard you talking about Gio and his ears are burning. So, hi Gio. You are not the pizza place.
Not the pizza place.
Not the pizza place. Hi Gio, how's it going? Yeah, I tried to do some kind of
so she was like texting me. She's like, "Hey, Cisco, check this guy Cisco Gary, because he has like a background behind his video. He's like mixing live, but he's like, to kind of make it a little more exciting, I guess he's got some background visuals going on. And so one is like Jesus, a little like 3D Jesus or something, holding a heart. And it looks like maybe it's a really small character, but he's processing it through like a video camera or something. So it looks like it's a life size behind him. But then it has like this motion thing going behind him. It's like a ghosting of his own image, like dancing and doing whatever he's doing at the decks. And I can't actually hear it because I'm on with you guys, but the video is interesting. So anyway, she was like, "Wow, check this thing out." It's a little dizzying if you watch it directly for too long, but it's kind of a neat visual effect. But anyway,
cool.
Speaking of which, while I was cruising around liking some pages on Facebook, Kelly.
Yes.
One of the suggested pages, this is one thing I love about Facebook. So one of the suggested pages was Uberzone, right? So you know who Uberzone is?
Drop a tone with the Uberzone, yep.
So I just like it, because I'm like, cool, Uberzone. And then I scroll down and I'm like looking at the posts. The last post, August 6th, 2013.
Yeah, I haven't heard much from him.
Sharp. His post was, "I just bought a new old analog synth. I guess no matter what it is, it's old now. And I think I want to write music again. You had me at one filter sweep."
And he's still there.
He got it.
Sorry, Uberzone. My bad.
He got 81 comments. That's like back when Facebook pages mattered.
Yeah, that's true.
I
don't even use mine anymore. Yours gets a lot of traction. Mine doesn't have as much traction, but it.
I mean, but really, mine gets some traction, but it's got 31,000 likes, right? So
yeah, true.
It gets a little traction considering, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'm thankful for all the traction. Don't get me wrong.
Right, but
I just think that the ratio is low.
It's true. No, because I can see how many likes that you have off of things, especially when it's shared. It's not that much for it. As far as the sheer volume that you have on there, more people should see it. So it doesn't make sense.
You would think more would see it. Yeah, I mean, I think it gets like maybe like an average like call it in post will get like 100, interactions or something, and then like a really good one, like a video or something, might get 1,000. It's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird.
So there's something to strive for. Get yourself 100,000 Facebook followers so you can get 10 likes.
Woo,
Go Facebook.
I've made it after all.
I ain't afraid. I'll advertise some on Facebook. I'm not afraid.
All right, so you asked about Miami. Miami was great. I had an experience where I did a whole bunch of things, and there he is. And Game of Throwdowns was awesome. I think that party was it was seamless from front to back. So I had a great time at that. But we went to a lot of house parties. We went to breakbeat parties and drum and bass parties. World of Drum and Bass was pretty tight too. So I had a great time.
Look who showed up.
Huh?
I said, look who showed up.
Yeah, there he is.
Sorry, guys.
It's all good.
I love you, man. I was about to get depressed if you weren't.
Then I was on this stupid WebEx call with a client, and I was like, "Come on, I gotta go. I gotta go. I got more important things."
I'm like about to tell Kelly, you know, it's rare enough that Frank and I even get to see each other,
Yeah.
and now we can't even get a damn online hangout together for 30 minutes. Dude, what's up? How are you, man?
Huh?
How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain.
We were just combing through the interwebs looking at all your stuff without you. So now we already have formed opinions, Frank. It's too late.
Frank, I think we have the same glasses. Look.
Think so?
Yeah, look.
Oh yeah, Warby Parker.
No.
Oh yeah, mine are Warby Parker.
Mine are Marc Jacobs. Close enough. Oh. They look pretty nice. Nice job. Nice job.
I saw them and I was like, you know, I think clear glasses would be cool.
That's what
and I just got them actually about a couple months ago.
I feel like I should wear them.
I don't think I know either of those people. Should I know those people? Are they designers?
Yeah.
I like how he says it. Yeah.
Well, Warby Parker has this thing where, like, if you buy a pair of glasses, they give to a pair of glasses to someone in need.
Oh, all right.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah. And I
bet you Marc Jacobs doesn't do that.
Bring me up. I'm in need of glasses. Well, hey, man. So we'll welcome Frank to the Wes Smith Variety Show, dude. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah, man. I mean, the quick 411 on Frank. We've known each other longer than the earth has known dirt. And I think you are the only person that's been on here that, my buddy Michael came on. He has nothing to do with music except for going to some festivals together, but I've known him a long time, and he did a whole like presentation on tequila manufacturing.
Oh, wow.
Because that's what he's like up to these days. But yeah, it was cool. But other than him, I think you passed him in the test of time in tolerating friendship with Wes Smith.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since the Lizard Lounge days.
Yeah, dude. I think the last time I saw you, I had a beard, didn't I? Like a full beard?
Yeah, I think so. You came through town. What was that for? You were heading somewhere or something like that?
It was a wedding.
Yeah.
You were doing one of your B-boy projects. You still, are those things still going on? Still do those?
I can't remember exactly what that was, but
it was like a lot of touring or something. You were DJing or some breakers. It was like
oh yeah, I wonder if that was when I went to Vegas and DJ'd with Shaquille O'Neal, or it was like Shaquille O'Neal, and he was endorsing some product called Enlighten. I haven't done that in a while though.
Okay.
I haven't done that in a while.
Well, all your awesomeness for a couple people that are tuned in, I dug up Stellar Music is there. Stellarmusic.com is there. Yogomi.com is there.
So that's my new project.
I want to hear about that, dude.
Okay.
And then I think your DJ, like Facebook DJ, maybe SoundCloud, all that stuff it's all DJ love.
It's all DJ love. Yeah.
Right?
It's all DJ love. Yeah.
You guys have any open windows open? Any extra windows open? Because that's causing a little bit of latency. A little bit echoing going on.
Let me see what I got going on.
Close the extra stuff out. Get rid of it.
Let me see. I do have a lot of stuff open myself.
I know Wes does. I already know you do.
Downloading all the things.
I'm downloading everything right now. Dropbox.
I don't have any utilities running. Nothing. I'm all good.
Let's see. I mean, I don't have anything else. Now in my house, I got all kinds of crazy stuff.
It sounds good now. I think
okay.
It's good.
Okay.
You know what? Dude, you know who I heard from the other day?
Who's that?
Maybe like a month ago. Kelly Reverb, dude.
Oh, really? Yeah, he called me not too long ago, actually. We talked about some stuff.
Yeah, I hadn't heard from you in a while, man.
Yeah, Kelly Reverb. Good old Kelly. Yeah, he's still, he's DJing some. He's got some regular thing he's got going on here. And then I'm
out stepping.
I'm out stepping.
Love that.
That was the first remix I ever did for anybody that was released. You know, that was the first remix I ever did that was released and on a vinyl. Yeah, that was Come Out Steppin'. And you know, interesting thing about that remix is that remix. I wrote that remix before I wrote my third record, which was Underground. Was Open Connections EP? I think it was called. Had Underground Funk and Pushing Buttons 3 and something else on there. But the Come Out Steppin' remix was the first track I wrote that like, oh, this is the sound I've been trying to make. It was Come Out Steppin' remix.
Yeah, that was those were some interesting days, man.
Yeah, it's like late 90s.
Dude, speaking of how DJing has changed, not that that was necessarily the theme for today, but you and I have both seen a lot of it go in a lot of directions. And before you got on here, usually just talk about a couple events coming up or whatever. And since I just played Seattle with DJ ShYo and some house DJs there, we were talking about that. And it's funny, we were just talking about how many DJs are out there, and I sort of off the cuff just made this comment. I was like, damn, you could like get a USB stick and a box of Cheerios now and be a DJ the next day. Like
I was just talking about this the other day. Like I was trying to explain to this girl. Well, okay, so like the Stan Warriors were just here, right?
Yeah.
And I was explaining to her exactly what their whole gear setup was, which was USB stick. Yeah. And then Mark was on Ableton.
Yeah, he runs that simultaneous, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I told her about somebody else that came through, and I said, well, that's a bad example, but okay, here's another. DJ Fix came through last summer, and me, I'm showing up at the club, but still with like 2 bags of records.
You got a U-Haul. You got a U-Haul with gear in it.
I still have 2 bags of records and at least 2 bags of records, and he just has his thumb drive, stuck it in CD player, and that's how it is these days.
You could, yeah. I mean, I kind of felt bad when I said it when we were just hanging out a couple of days and some.
But it's true.
Folks around, but I kind of felt bad when I said it because it came off a little funny, and but at the same time, like I really was thinking like, because they were having a discussion about what really creates the draw for a DJ these days. It was kind of centered around that kind of stuff. And I was kind of like, well, I mean, you like literally you could get a USB stick in a box of Cheerios, like the old school like box that would have the draw this character in 6 steps and submit it to win a scholarship at Ringling, whatever. Yeah. Like you remember that shit, right?
It's true.
It literally could be that easy. So the barrier to entry, was my point, is 0 for the most part.
It's true. And I was thinking, I mean, I started DJing in '88, and I'm from Oklahoma. So in 1988 in Lawton, Oklahoma, there was no DJ scene. There weren't. I think there were 100,000 people in the whole city, and it fluctuated because we're next to an army base. But for the most part, Lawton, Oklahoma is a small town. I don't even know why they call it a city. It's a small town, right? There's 3 high schools. That's it. So when I started DJing, there was no, DJ scene. I didn't go, when I went to Brothers and Sisters Records, was the record store in town. When I went in there to get records, I never ran into another DJ when I was in there. If I did, that was like very rare, and I didn't know who they were, even though it was a small town. I started DJing really because I just loved the music. I wanted to be a pop star, to be honest with you. That's the truth. I wanted to be a freaking pop star. I wanted to be the next Michael Jackson when I was like growing up. I mean, I wanted to be a total pop star. And then after I think when I graduated high school, I went to my first real club, like '97. It was in Oklahoma City. Went to the Rec Room, which is still open. And then there's a place called it was called The Edge. And so I heard the music, blew me away. I was hearing stuff like for the first time, like West Bam and all these old groups that I just like never heard of. Because Lawton, Oklahoma,
The Dust Brothers, dude.
Yeah, like we didn't know any of that stuff. We weren't really exposed to it, so you had to leave town to hear it. And then it just totally flipped on me. I was like, this is the music that I want to make. Forget all that pop stuff. I want to make this kind of music, whatever this is. I want to be a part of it. And so that's kind of what. That's why I started buying records. But I didn't buy records to DJ. I bought records because, like, hey, what's this song? I wanted to own that song.
I think I got started similar to that. But dude, I wanted to be. I was a huge fan of Billy Idol. I wanted to be a guitar. I wanted to play guitar like Steve Stevens, dude. That was my dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was straight up my dream, man. It was like Steve Stevens, the whole look, the tight pants, everything.
Yeah, that guy was.
In many ways, I'm glad that did not come true. That was like one summer home from college. I was all about it, and that was pretty much right before MTV stopped playing music or somewhere in there. Yeah. And then I went back to college, and there was a club there in Gainesville, Simon's, that I got. No, not even. It's called My Friend's Place. Oh. And I went there. It was owned by, well, Simon, who later owned Simon's, was the DJ at My Friend's Place. And so I went there, and I forgot all about playing guitar.
Yeah. And which is so weird because now I'm all about playing guitar. I'm like a crazy guitar nerd. Yeah. Do you think I mean, just listening to the music was hard enough, like you described, and I do remember buying records without any knowledge of what to do to them other than play them on a straight up, old whatever regular, whatever LG turntable or whatever was available then at that time. And then but I do, at least for me, my recollection is that being, I guess, hard to get, not per se hard to play, but hard to get, kind of made it a little special. I wonder if that just is missing nowadays. Well, this is the thing. This is what I was explaining to my friend. Before, I'd say at least the mid '90s, you had to be a DJ, you had to have records, right? You had to have them. There's no way around it. I'm talking like even when CDs came in, we're still early. Records were still the thing. So you had to have records. And not only did you have to have records, you had to have good records, and you had to know how to spin those records well. You had to know how to mix them, phrasing, all your transitions, all your programming. You had to be, that's the only way that you could actually be considered a good DJ and your name would go up. Because if you showed up and started playing, 170 BPM with 120 BPM and just doing a slow fade and train wrecking the whole night, you wouldn't have a job. Nobody's gonna go, man, that DJ's awesome.
It's so true. Like, I mean, I'm excited that everybody's finding music. That's cool. I have no problem with that, and I'm excited that they get excited, to get that USB stick in a Cheerios box and take DJ photos the next week. I mean, that there's nothing wrong with that, like it's the time we live in. And so that's what you've got to work with. And so I think people are just embracing what's there to work with, like they're either not cognizant of or just happy that they don't have to deal with that shit from days gone by. So I don't have a problem with that, but going back to like when I was telling you I made that comment, it kind of did. It's the first time I guess it kind of hit me where I realized, like, man, there really is a difference, even with it all on a USB. Like, there really is a difference if you sort of blindly approach, having to play your music. By blindly, I mean, no sync, no quantize, no cue points pre-mapped, basically as equivalent to vinyl as you could get. I'm not saying everybody needs to go do that. I'm just saying that was the first time I think it kind of hit me in a while that there is a significant difference. And what I didn't realize was, even though I'll play off of, now Record Box DJ off the laptop or off USB sticks, what I'd kind of forgotten about it, and someone at a show will remind me every now and then, is they'll come up and realize that I'm completely mixing just like I would on vinyl, like no keying,
right?
No, nothing, man. It's just pick a track and I just listen real quick, and either I just kind of know it does or doesn't work, and then something else. or 5 in a row will work, whatever, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? So, and we you know, any of us that programmed with vinyl to go out on night, I mean, we know as well as anybody, we would have, you know, maybe 3 times as many records as we might play that night, but we certainly would know that a number of them mixed well together or whatever, because at $10 a piece you had played them all 400 times.
Exactly. Well, here's something really interesting, maybe ironic even. So when Stanton Warriors were here, I opened up for them, and you know, they went on and did their set. So we hung out afterwards, and in 2 separate conversations, one I had with Dom, and one I had with Mark. And what's interesting is they never actually had the conversation with each other. I found out a couple of days later. But I was talking to Dom, and he was just talking about how great vinyl sounded compared to the digital. And he pulled me aside. He's like, "Wow!" He said he was in Spain, I think the week before, and there was a group of guys playing. I think what they were playing was like kind of older 70s. I think he said it was like 70s, 80s funk disco type stuff, which is great on vinyl. You know, that stuff sounds so good and warm. And he said he noticed it then. And so even though I was playing, you know, mostly breaks, a lot of the same artists we all know, Dom just was like, man, the vinyl sounded so just warm. And he said it's so interesting because the versions that we're playing are like the best versions. Like, this is what we're going to master. Even if we were going to put vinyl out, this is what we would use to master it. But your vinyl sounded better. So that was right after the show. And then Monday, I think it was Monday, I met with them before breakfast. Or no. So Mark said something to me later that night, and a separate conversation. Dom wasn't there. And so then Monday, how I found out that neither one of them had talked about it was Dom brought it up again, and Mark goes, "Oh yeah, I was talking to him about that." So it was like they both had the same idea and kind of the same revelation, but on a totally as 2 separate people. But I thought that was really interesting. A lot of people forget about the sound of vinyl. It actually is different than digital, you know. And then you also,
I'll tell you, I still swear, and I mean, it could just be my desire to feel like something's different. You know, your brain can trick you, but I swear when I make a synth patch that comes off of one of my my Moogs, it definitely sounds different. Like you could do some amazing stuff with Massive and Lethal and, you know, Serum. There's no question about it, and there's all kinds of reasons to do that. But there's definitely something like, and I even, when people come over here sometimes and I'll, you know, play like something part done or, you know, just a lead or something, and it comes out of like the Slim Fatty or one of these analogs, and they'll just be like, "Dude, what is that coming out of?" You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's the same. I have the same monitors you heard the other stuff on. I don't know, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's just something. I think it must be like, it may not be the actual, you know, if you're recording it to digital, then the bit depth and whatever is going to be what it's going to be. But I think it may be something to do with, like how it's not perfectly on the grid, right? Like it's just slightly off,
right?
Right, and so I'm not so sure that it's like the depth of the actual sound in terms of, you know, 0 and 1 quality. Mm-hmm. I think it's because it's actually like your brain is sensitive enough, I believe, to pick up the very minute lack of timing.
Yeah, and I think too, the more and more as technology is so busy, you know, old school sounds are always cool. So technology is always trying to figure out, hey, you don't have to go hunt for those old school sounds. Here, we made them for you, but they're still digitally made. Where back then, the pads and all that stuff was sort of made, and when you listen to hardcore early 90s, that stuff was made so dirty. It was really just like really dirty. Even samples, like think about time stretches. Time stretches were basically stretching out a sample at the lowest quality. That's all it was.
You remember, what was the first, it was like propeller heads or something. There was some tool that was literally, no, I think it was from the Cubase. Who made Cubase? Who was it, Steinberg?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they made some plugin for Cubase that was, it was the first thing, I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was some name that sort of sounded like what it did, which is typical, I guess. But definitely an old one, and it literally, like, you literally set the number of slices that it would make over the duration of your sample, and like that was the whole value of the plugin, was that you could set it to 16 and it would take whatever, you know, start and end point, and it would make it 16 equal pieces.
Wow. Yes.
It wasn't even like looking for the transients, dude. It was so difficult to slice a piece of audio. You know, it was so time consuming to slice a piece of audio into 32 equal increments that they came out with this plugin that was all the rage.
Yeah. And like back when I did time stretches, I would take the sound that I liked and or wanted to time stretch it. Okay, it's 2 seconds now. I want it to be 7 seconds. Make it 7 seconds, but like really crappy. I don't want it to sound exactly. And I would just choose the lowest quality, or pretty close to the lowest quality, and then there was my time stretch. And that's how the UK guys did it. It was just really dirty, you know.
Yeah.
But now everything, everything is it's really emulators. That's what it is. They're emulators. They're emulators in school.
Totally. And I don't think most of them. I haven't done a lot of research into it, but I'm pretty sure all of the software synths and sound generators, if you don't want to call them synths, I think they're all pretty much like, I don't think they have any like float in the sound generation like you would get from electricity that creates
right,
you know, with an LFO. I don't think there may be some, or there may be some plugins that try to emulate that, but I don't think there are that natively, you know, by default produce all their sounds with some kind of, you know, electrical current float in them.
But that's just it. They're emulators, like you said. You know?
Yeah. But they're emulating on the grid. You know, they're placing everything.
Right. Everything's really sharp.
Time clock or a precise.
Yeah, exactly.
Musical count. Yeah.
Yeah, my first gear, the 94, which I don't have it anymore. I'm using a controller now because I switched to Logic. But my first was a Kurtz. Everything I wrote from every record from 97 to 2000 and I guess 10 or 11 was all written on a Kurzweil K2000. I mean, it had the sampler built in. It was one big, just giant keyboard station. It was awesome. I gave it to my brother, but it was an awesome piece of like machinery. It was a great. I mean, every record I wrote with that. And
speaking of them, you said you had something coming out.
I just had the last thing that came out was a remix I did for Blaps Posse. They messaged me and asked me to remix "Don't Hold Back."
Okay.
And I'm working on re-releasing the track "Desire" that was on my 4th record. There's a local guy who did a remix for me. I think back in 2012 or something like that. He was like, "Man, I really want to remix that track, so I'm going to release it as a single." I got a drum and bass remix coming and another breaks remix coming, and so I'm going to re-release that. And then I'm also working on Pushin' Buttons 5. That was a popular series, so I'm bringing the Pushin' Buttons.
I think that's how I found you musically, and then of course, and then of course I met you, I think, in Atlanta one time.
Yeah, Pushin' Buttons was sort of my, all right, here's a sample that I really like. I'm going to make a breakbeat track around it. That's why I called it Pushin' Buttons, you know.
Yeah.
And, usually it was some kind of loop or something that influenced me, whether it was a disco song or something like that. But yeah, so there's a new one of those coming out soon. But I did a remix for Blaps Posse for Don't Hold Back, and then I did a remix for Jail Funk out of Germany.
Yeah.
Across the ocean, I think it was called. He wanted a hip hop remix. I did a hip hop remix of that.
What would you say is your most most listened to track that you've done?
I would say my most listened to and most played. I mean, this track has more plays on it than my Stellar Music account, my DJ Love, all those, everything on there combined. It is, and they're one of my favorite groups anyway. So Ski Whiff asked me to do a remix of their back when they had what was it?
Oh yeah.
They had it was like the what do you call it? The swing stuff that they were doing, electro like
it's like that ghetto funk glitch hop stuff.
Yeah, it was like this electro swing stuff, and they had a track on there called Moscow Mule, and so they asked me to remix it. Now their version is only like, I think it's probably 80 BPM, if that. It may be even slow. It's really slow, like kind of, And so I took the track and sped it up, I think, to about 130, and made a remix, really heavy beats and some scratching, and that was a big deal to me because they're one of my favorite groups. I hung out with them a couple of times in London.
Did you do another one? Did you do another one for them?
They did one for me.
Ollie G. I think you did one for Ollie G. Was that Ollie B? Ollie G?
Ollie B. Well, I did a bunch of stuff on his label, so I was signed to Air Recordings for a while.
Oh, right.
So I did a bunch of singles. I did an album on the label, and then and then there was a bunch of remixes done by like Ski With, A Skills. Who else was on there? There's a bunch of people on there. Also, another big one that I did was with the Dub Pistols. I did Running From the Thoughts. I did a remix for them that got a lot of listens too.
Those guys are fun, aren't they?
Yeah. And Barry and all those guys.
I got to do that Kill a Sound remix for them. I was so stoked, dude.
Yeah. And
they set the approach. It went down like this. The approach was like, Barry friended me on Facebook, or I friended him or something, and then we were chatting, and he sends a link of the video to Kill a Sound. And before there was even another comment, I replied with remix ?
Yeah. He reached out. I want to say he reached out to me on. It might have been Twitter, but
he's a cool dude, man. He's got that guy's out. They're out there doing their thing on a whole.
And that's another one of my favorite groups. Like I have every Dub Pistol album. That's one. So when he reached out to me, I want to say it was on Twitter. He goes, "Hey, do you want to do a remix?" I was like, "Yeah,"
Yeah.
So those two. I think I have a lot of listens with that, but definitely that Ski With, that Moscow Mule, that thing just blew up. If you look on their EP, I don't know, it's got several 100,000 listens or something like that. But yeah, that's kind of my claim to fame. It's got more listens than all my songs combined.
Go get a Moscow Mule and go listen to Moscow Mule, DJ Love. Don't forget it.
DJ Love remix, yeah.
That's something I wish. I'd like to see more people not be quite so tight with some of the artistic integrity on getting people to do remixes for them. I think, like I like, speaking of meaningful, maybe not the most played, probably the most played as well, but certainly meaningful was like Dub Pistols, Crystal Method, maybe one other, but those guys, I'll say this in an open way. Like they approached me. It wasn't like I was trying to be chased. Like I didn't even know how to get in touch with them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like those guys are both on such another level. I wouldn't even thought about it, dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was more like that. It was more like the reverse. Like had they not asked me, I would have never even met them.
Right. Exactly.
So I guess so. My point is, it would be nice to see, more people maybe take some chances like that. I'm not saying go give your stems in a Cheerios box while I'm on that for everything.
Some of us have been around for a while. You've been around for a while. I've been around for a while.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're unheard of, right? It just
right. It's not like you can't go find a catalog of music.
Exactly, and then you've made some dope tracks, and it's not like you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but I think some people. I think part of what I know part of what I'm also saying is I think people maybe get a little too concerned that like, oh, that guy. I'm a UK bass guy, and I don't want a breakbeat mix out there with my name on it or whatever.
Right.
That or a hip hop mix or whatever. I'm a trance guy. I don't want a bass house. I don't.
Yeah.
I only want what I want. Exactly. My point is, those guys weren't like that at all.
No.
They didn't say anything. They're just like, do something cool.
Yeah. And I actually asked Jail Funk. I was like, when I listened to his original track, I was like, do you want a breaks mix or a hip hop mix? I gave him an option, and he goes, hip hop mix, you know. And he's a breaks guy. Cool. So I was like, cool, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. You know, I think we've paid our dues, man. We've done it. We've been out there. We've played for crowds. We've put out music. You know, so when people like that still kind of brush you off, or you know, I still get it. You're just like, come on. It is a totally different time now, and you know, I think honestly, I think now is even a better time for people to come together and work together with you know, with technology that is good and bad. You know, technology has come in and made things very, very convenient. There's no doubt about that. But it has also opened up the door for a lot of garbage. It's hard to wade through the garbage to get to the good stuff now because it's everywhere. Like you go on SoundCloud and there's millions and millions and millions and millions of garbage. And then you finally find something and it's really good, but it's just because it's so easy to access. It's just out there for anybody. There's no rule that says, you know, and it goes back to where when you wanted to be a DJ in 93 and 94, like really, where are your records? Because you're not playing mine, you know. Now people will show up and go, hey, let me borrow your, I've seen it. Hey, why don't I just share your thumb drive? Okay, no, here you go. You know, because they all know the song. Okay, I know your song's cool. You know what I mean? I've seen it happen. I saw a guy here as a local.
It's like, wait, what? It's like, wait, do you want me to hand you the Beatport Top 100 USBs?
Right.
Or do you want me to hand you the one that I crate dug all week long?
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, I think now is even a time for a lot of us who are still doing it, because a lot of us aren't still doing it, you know, to work together, come together and make, you know, make more things happen. Because I think there's a history that, first of all, there's a history, just like in any other thing, there's a history that people, new kids and new jacks don't, not only do they not know about it, they don't care. They're just like, this is my time now. I'm going to be a star. I don't care about how I got here. That's just how it is, right? A lot of things are like that. I mean, not
music, not just, but
yeah, not just music, but you know,
I wonder what it is. I wonder like what it is that influences someone, you know, let's say just getting into music one way or the other, because, you know, I've worked with some great, you know, guys and girls that are in like, you know, they might be early 20s, man. Like, I think they turned 21 since I met them, you know, like even Colin that works for the label, you know, he's super knowledgeable, man.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, he digs deep, man. He knows all this different stuff about, you know, not just the new stuff, but like a lot of historical stuff. And he may not like it, but he's very knowledgeable, you know? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I think that may be more rare, I guess. I don't know. Kelly, what do you think?
I think it's work too. That it's work to have to go do the research. It is.
That's for sure. Yeah. You know? There's a lot of history of electronic music to catch up on, I guess, if you're 21.
Yeah. You're missing out on some good stuff. Yeah. What does Kelly think? Kelly, what do you think?
What do you think, Kelly?
What's the specific question? What do I think?
What do you think about the world, Agent 137?
I mean, I think it's definitely different now than it was before. And if you don't innovate in some way, shape, or form, then you get left behind. So I think that having the knowledge that both of you have, I certainly was in the scene at the same time, but not behind the decks, in front of them dancing. So, you know, what you hear is not necessarily what the dancers hear. I think people are a little bit more educated now than we were back in the 90s. Like we just went out and listened to music and it sounded great and had a great time. But I think people, you know, even you were saying like there's so much crap out there pretty much, but I think that the average listener now is way more educated and knows what's crappy and what's not. Now, if it's, you know, and I don't want to knock people that are 21. I really don't want to do that. But when I was 21, You know what I mean? It just wasn't the same when you curate and you get older, you know things, but I don't know. I think it also brings
Did you say when you marinate?
No. Yeah, well, yeah, that works too when you marinate. But yeah, when you marinate, I mean, it tends to get a little bit elitist, and that's where I think that it gets important not to be too much into the, I don't know, the logistics of it. Like, I think if you put out good music, you put out good music. It is what it is. It doesn't matter if you're 21. It doesn't matter if you're 41. It doesn't matter if you're 61.
Well, you know, that's totally true. And I hear from, not hear, but read from time to time, or maybe hear it too sometimes. And you'll see there's always a comment out there that's like, art just wants to be free. Let it free.
Yeah.
You know? And I guess it's kind of true in a sense. You know, maybe all the digital, a lot of the stuff we hear that we would think is not good or not playable or whatever, that may be true. But maybe really the only reason we're hearing it at all is because it's really not much different than, all the songs that probably never got finished or put anywhere at all, in someone's studio. We've all got them.
Yeah.
But because it's easy to go ahead and throw it up online, a whole lot easier than it would be to go, you wouldn't go cut a vinyl dub plate, much less do a production run of a half-baked song, right? So, that stuff just never made it. The barrier to entry just wasn't there. So I guess that's probably why we hear a lot of stuff that may not seem.
I know for a fact that there are guys that I talk to, like, well, it's not done yet. I'm like, why do you have it up on SoundCloud?
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it when they send it to me. Oh, it's almost done.
I'm still working on it. I'm like,
I have to say that because, Frank, because of because of our history, where we come from. I mean, dude, in my own brain, it's like, I would never put anything, I wouldn't even let people listen to it if it's not done.
No. Like when I was working on the, and that's the thing that she really hit it on the point where you like, times have changed, technology's changed. If you don't use it, you're going to get left behind. So even though I'm still 100% vinyl DJ, that doesn't mean I'm not up on the times when it comes to technology.
Yeah, of course.
So like, I'm still like, I'm still pushing everything, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So so I think for the first time when I was working on the Blaps Posse remix, I had started working on that beat, and that beat just wasn't coming together. It just did not sound good. And the day that I actually got the beat to sound right, I actually made a clip of it and put it on Instagram, just the beat, just to give people a little taste. And you know what I mean? It's kind of like, this is what people do now. They get on there, dangle that carrot, like, ooh, so it's kind of, I can play that game, But I will tell you that I feel very, very, very fortunate to still be considered relevant in this day and age, that I still only use vinyl, and I'm still DJing. Like, I'm still truly DJing and working and putting out music. I feel very, very lucky. I do. Because, I mean, there's tons of new, even though I said there's a lot of crap out there, there's tons of great artists that are coming up and coming out, and they are
that's the upside.
All new tech. They're using all new tech. And, but I guess if I sucked, I wouldn't still be doing it.
No, totally.
If I haven't got it down by now, then I need to.
Damn right.
I always tell myself, dude, I'll keep showing up until nobody else does.
That's what I did. There's a guy that shows up. I mean, every break. I've known this guy 20 plus years. This before I even moved to Dallas. I knew this guy. His name's Bodie, and he's at every single breaks night, every night.
Hey, Bodie.
Yeah, and so I told him, I said, hey, Bodie, he goes, we've been doing this a long time. I know. I go, dude, just be honest with me. When the time comes where it's time for me to start, just come up to me and just do this.
Let me know.
Let me know. He's like, all right. But until then, man, I'm going to keep doing it.
I mean, like you said, you got more into guitar, and I've always, that's something I've always, I don't know if envy is the right word, but I've always enjoyed that about you as a DJ and a friend in that capacity, is really exploring, musicianship all around. So,
I'm a touring pianist, right, and violinist.
Yeah.
And then drums was my third instrument. But I messed around with guitars in the 80s, but I never really, I learned some power chords. But
yeah, so did I. Sorry.
That's about how far I got.
Right. Well, what got me into guitars was the track that I wrote for. So I did a remix for Malente. What was that track for Malente? Funk Till I Die, or Till I Die. And so I was trying to find some good guitar licks in it. And I found some that I knew that I hadn't heard anywhere, but I was like, man, that was really hard to find that guitar sample. So I was working on the track for Air called Steez. And I was like, man, I really want some funky guitar in here, but I just can't find the sound that I'm looking for.
Great track.
Thanks. So I was like, maybe I should just go buy a guitar and maybe learn how to do it myself. So a friend of us, most of my actual heroes were my friends. Like they were like I have some friends that started a band in Oklahoma City. Those guys are my heroes. Like if I know you and you're doing something cool, you're pretty much my hero. So one of them, I'd gone up to DJ in Oklahoma City, my old stomping grounds, and I was having lunch with the drummer, my friend Travis, and he goes, "Hey, Ryan's selling that guitar." And I was like, "Really?" And he had this. I still have the guitar actually. It's a ES335 copy. It's a Korean copy of a Japanese company called Tokai, and it's just a copy of a really expensive Gibson. And he sold it to me for $400. So I got it home, went and bought wah pedal, crybaby pedal, and figured out that lick that I needed just for that build up in that song. And so I put it off, and I finally recorded it. And then after I recorded, I was like, man, this is actually kind of fun playing the guitar. So then I went and bought another guitar. And then I thought, man, this guitar is kind of crappy, the one that I bought. And so I went back to get another guitar. I was like, I think that I'm not ready for a more expensive guitar. He says, if you think the guitar that you have sounds like crap, you're ready for a better guitar. And so then it was just like, it just snowballed after that. So I went from 2 guitars, I guess, back then to, I think I have 32 guitars now, 32, mostly Gibsons. And
you're addicted, dude.
Yeah, and I plan on at least buying 2 or 3 more. But
of course you do.
Yeah. But what the magic was when I actually really truly learned to play. When I actually really learned to play, that was the magic. When I learned my chords, when I learned scales, pentatonic scales, and all that stuff, and figured out how to riff and solo and all that, it changed everything. And then it was like, man, that guitar looks cool. I wonder what that's like. I'll just buy it. And so now I have like 32 guitars and
32.
Yeah,
Woo!
30 of them are Gibsons.
This is the only thing I can relate to your guitar with.
Oh, I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better. Watch this. Check this out.
I've been running the analog synths through these guitar pedals.
I'll do you one better.
Oh,
So I've got my guitar set up. Super easy access.
They don't all work all that well, but all the time. But they're fun.
So if you're wondering,
bring us a toy.
Yes, I have my guitars on rollable racks.
What?
Yeah.
I had to go and plug this to bring it over here.
Yeah. All my guitars. This is just 3. These are all Gibson. These are all
your Instagram is like guitar porn, dude.
Yeah. These are just 3, but every single guitar is on a rollable rack.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would take up my whole place.
And they all have straps, and they're all.
Give you that heads up, Kelly. Yeah.
What's that?
They're all ready to play. Yeah. Every single one of them has a strap. Like if somebody comes over and wants to jam, they can just pick out a guitar and we can jam. I got 2 amps.
So have you ever I mean, I've watched some of your videos of you playing. So have you ever incorporated any of that into a DJ set, or been interested in it? Or?
It's so funny. Everybody keeps asking me to do that. So
Do it.
Cool. It seems cool.
I'm going to do it. I am actually going to do it. I'm actually working. So, I stream a lot. I do the live show every Friday night on TTT.
That's your art class thing, right?
Yeah, it's art class.
Yeah.
And that's been going on for years. All the guys that teach, those guys are great. There's a guy that goes on in New York City. Then 2 guys go on in DC, and then I go on last. And it's been going on for years. And it was funny thing is like when they asked me to join, I was kind of like iffy. I was like, I don't know. I'm like really iffy about working with people. I'm sort of a loner. And but these guys are great. And so I go on and people have, I mean, there's these people are in the room every week. There's a guy from France that's in there every week. Some people are local. I've never met, right? Never met them. They live here in Dallas. Never met them, but we talk in that room like we've known each other for years. Never met them, and they live here in the city.
Where is this?
This is every Friday night. I do a live broadcast called Art Class. It's through tttradio.net.
Okay.
Now I was doing it on Ustream, but I'm moving it to Chew TV. But everybody has. I mean, people come up to me at my gigs and say that. It's like, dude, you need
it's cool, man.
I've
dipped in and out of it and seen some of the bits on repeat.
Yeah.
Cool deal.
Well, thanks. So what I'm thinking about doing, actually really doing, is working on one of my broadcasts to be a full-on like live performance.
Okay.
Where, all original music. I bust out the guitars. I got my drum set over there. I got an electronic drum set, so I can do that. And then of course, got to throw the scratches in there at one point. And so I think how I'm going to start that is that I'm going to work in some guitar and some of the DJ stuff, because everybody keeps asking me that. And I'm like, maybe I should just do it. Maybe just try it out. I mean, I just, it's something that you just don't normally see,
No, you don't see a lot of it. And I think, I mean, it's definitely that's one of the things I've thought about. If I sit around and think about, what else would I do with music? It would probably be to get to where, practice some instrument enough to where I'm comfortable playing it, live.
Right. Yeah.
That's something I've never, been able to do. So
I think I'm to the point now, like piano and drums for sure. I can play that stuff live, but I think I've been doing this guitar thing, I guess, for about 10 years, and I think I'm at the point now where I feel comfortable that I would actually perform for someone. And I performed for some friends that have come by, even when I didn't think I was that good, or as skilled as I am now. I put it that way. So I think I'm gonna have to do it. As everybody keeps bringing it up, I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna have to work this guitar thing in there.
There's some crazy, I know you've got your 30 some odd, guitars with strings, but have you seen some of these controllers, dude, that are these MIDI guitar controllers?
Yeah. Crazy. It's crazy what they're making now, and you can do so much stuff with them.
You can totally, there's a few, I forget the names of them, but I was super bugged out on controllers for quite a while, and I got into it, I don't know, through DJ Tech Tools maybe back in 2010 or 11 or somewhere in that time frame. And I've gone through some phases, whether it was just mashing on buttons for MIDI controllers to different DJ, assistant performance stuff. And I've never really loved any of it, but it's always been fun to explore,
Right.
But then when I got on the guitar kick, I was like, holy crap, there's some pieces out there that are like a couple grand, dude. And they're like completely mapped natively, for example, to Ableton.
Right.
And so you can put like all your, like you might do anyway with a typical grid, push controller or something, then just launch clips in Ableton, for example. You could do that with the guitar. And so if you get smart about it and you create all your clips, or go get a preset pack or something that has all the scales and whatnot that you would want to use with the guitar, then you've got this crazy open palette of effects and plugins and all that stuff that you can apply. And
right,
you could preset or not even preset. You could assign, different Ableton control parameters to the different things on the guitar. Crazy.
Yeah. Technology, man. So, but like you said, you got to keep up with it. But I mean, I've managed to keep it sort of analog for the most part. But like I said, I am still, of all the DJs that I know in Dallas, I think I'm the only one doing a streaming show. I don't know anybody else here doing a streaming show, which is weird because it's just right there. It's right there at your fingertips, but everybody will do their little short clips on
Is Chris Lund? Is he near you? Left, right? Is he in
Yeah,
Dallas?
yeah, he's in Dallas.
Yeah,
I don't see him that often though. I don't really we don't really see each other that often though. I don't talk to him very much.
I don't know.
He didn't come to the Stan Warriors show.
That's because you're a hermit, dude.
Yeah. He didn't even come to the Stan Warriors show.
Because he was in Miami.
Oh, he was already there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We stayed at Gio's house with him.
That's why.
I hung out. I've hung out with him a few times, but it was funny. Like probably the funniest was in LA. We played a lineup together, and we went out afterward to get something to eat, and we had the biggest like craving for some kind of In-N-Out burger or smash burger or something.
You got the late night eats, man.
Man, we end up finding this place called Yum Yum Donut.
Of course.
And literally cat-a-corner across the block is like an In-N-Out. And Chris is like, I've never had In-N-Out, but I've always heard about it. So of course the squad, there's like 5 of us maybe in this SUV. Of course you roll over there. We drove that poor order attendant nuts. She was just like, we're like, one of those, one of those, and one of those.
How long ago was this?
It was last year, summer.
Oh, we have In-N-Outs here now. I wonder why he hasn't had it. Maybe because the truth is we're Whataburger people. This is Texas and Oklahomans.
I'm almost positive it was In-N-Out. It could have been a different burger chain from California, but
yeah, we're starting.
I definitely remember the Yum Yum Donut because I have a photo of it.
Yeah, we just started getting the In-N-Outs a few years ago. We didn't have them for the longest time, and then I forget what year it was that they came out. It was in the last.
I mean, like I didn't really talk to Chris about it, but like me, he probably doesn't eat a lot of burgers. Like
yeah, I don't. I mean, when I have a burger, I would say I have a hamburger probably once every maybe 6 months. Like I get a craving, like
yeah, me too.
Ever. Yeah. Like
maybe every year.
Yeah, more like that. But we've got a place here, Rocky's Crown Point Pub, man, and I would probably only eat them once every 6 months, except that Rocky's Crown Point is here, and and it's kind of in the way of a number of the outdoor activities that I do. So,
you're in South Cal, right?
San Diego, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
So I'm pretty good about it. Like I do a lot of running. So if I go run like 6 or 8 miles, then I'll treat myself to a.
There you go. That's fair. Yeah. So I'm not running 6 or 8 miles. I do a 5K and that's it. I'm done.
I'll get a steak after that.
Yeah, I run in. I have the same route. Like I leave my building, run into downtown, run back. And then it's almost exactly 3.1 miles. And that after 3.1, I just walk the rest of the way back. I'm like, I've done something today.
Cool down, man. I'm training for I run, relatively like normally, but I'm in the middle right now. I'm halfway through. I got 9 weeks to go till the San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon. So
oh yeah.
This will be my 5th one, I think. So
sweet.
They're hard, man. It's a lot of time mostly.
Yeah.
The running is tough, but like most anything, you can, if you don't mind running, it's just like most anything physical. You just have to remind yourself that you have to finish. You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to keep myself in shape. The older you get, you kind of let it go,
Oh, that's why I started.
I was like, I got to keep this in check, especially
and then like everything, I was like, well, I'm bored with 5K. Now what? Oh wait, I'm bored with half marathon. Now what?
It's never happening. Never happening. I'm telling you right up.
That's straight up.
Yeah.
That one doesn't bore you. What's up with this? I know you're into all kinds of stuff, dude. But outside of the music thing, I guess it's kind of music. What's a Yogami thing about, man?
Okay, so Yogomi is something I came up with back about 10 years ago. I came up with it because I'm a big video game guy. I love video games, and I'm a big, just total geek nerd. I like Comic Cons. I like comic books, cosplayers. I'm big into all the superhero movies because I grew up with comic books. So that a lot of that stuff is really just it's so up my alley. It's not even funny, right? So about 10 years ago, this is kind of early Xbox Live days when everybody was playing Halo, and people would put up their like cool montages and stuff like that, like cool kills that they did on Halo. And it got to be kind of all the rage. And I had a friend who was really good at it. Just watching him play was like watching a montage. And I thought, YouTube was still sort of kind of newish, it hadn't quite taken over, but it was kind of coming up, and people were starting to migrate away from E-Bomb's world to YouTube. And yeah, so I thought, hey, what if we came up with a site where everybody uploads their video game videos, and that's all it is, so sure, you could go to YouTube and search for video game videos, but what if we made a site that people, all they did was just like upload their montages or cool kills or whatever. Yeah. And so they were like, oh, that's awesome. So I came up with the name. The name is supposed to sound like a Japanese word, but I made it up based on looking up a bunch of different languages, words that meant like fun or competing or gaming or competition or groups or something like that. So the interesting thing is each of those syllables were pulled from a word from another language, and none of the languages were Asian language. They're mostly Eastern European.
Yeah.
And so I got like the yo and the go and the me, and I pulled them together and kind of did a little puzzle thing, and then like, oh, Yogomi. All right, there we go. That's the name of it. And I even still, not too long ago, I found my logo that I created in 2007 for it, which looks different now, but it's sort of the same. The idea of the triangle is supposed to be a play button. Just like, you press play to play a game or whatever. So nothing happened with it. I think they were excited, and they kind of just fell off. So I sat on it for a while, and then a friend of mine invited me to. I actually, as much as I really liked cosplay, I've been looking at it on the internet for years. A friend of mine invited me to my first con. I think it was like 2012. And I went, and I was just blown away, like, holy crap, And so I was like, I got to figure out how to be a part of this. And so I'm into photography, so I started taking my camera and taking photos, and then hooked up with some people. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to bring this Yogomi thing back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a portal where, and it's still pretty new. So the idea is, we're gonna talk about video games and movies and cool TV shows and the cartoons and all that stuff.
Right.
But also what I want to do is, as you'll see, there's a couple of spotlights. So I start shooting these videos where I interview people, cosplayers that talk about their story. How did you get into it? And then they talk about how they make their costumes and how they got started. Then I do a whole video on them. And it's not just going to be cosplayers. I've got a video coming up where I'm going to do so it's interesting how I meet people. I just bought a new car couple of weeks ago, and I went in and to get it, and I was talking to the finance guy, and I was sitting at the desk of the sales guy. It was an Audi dealership, and Audi has this deal with Marvel. So when you're looking through the Audi magazine, in the middle is a Marvel comic book. It's like the Avengers. They drive Audis in the Avengers movies. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I kind of took some pictures, and then the sales guy goes, oh, you're really gonna like the finance guy, because he makes toys. And I was like, what? So this guy makes his own like custom toys, and he has his most popular one is he made a Han Solo, the Carbonite Pop-Tart. You can look it up. Just look at the Han Solo Pop-Tart, and you'll find it. He made it. It looks like a Pop-Tart, and it's got Han Solo and the Carbonite on it. And apparently, it was like a huge hit. So we sat. We sat and we talked, and so now I'm going to do an interview with him, and about how he makes his toys and things like that. So anything that's
this is hilarious. It's like can you eat it?
No, I don't think you eat it. I think it's just a toy that he just made. It just looks like a Pop-Tart.
It's the same imprint from That's fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah, so he makes all these custom toys, and that's exactly the kind of thing that I want to cover. And the idea is to give these people with these talents and these skills in this whole geek culture, in this geek world, where most of the time people would only see it if they went to the event, or if they went if they knew about it, you know, if they
right.
really had to know.
Well, if you're listening and you're in for a detour, go Google Solo Pop-Tart, and it's like not only is the Pop-Tart awesome, but then you get to see all these other things.
Yeah, he makes all these great
carbonite Jello.
Yeah. So
dude, that's great, man. All right.
The idea was to help these people get noticed, because a lot of these people aren't stars. They're not, they're not famous. They just love what they do. But I thought, hey, maybe I can help promote you. And then on top of that, I always, every month or anytime I do an event, I donate to some kind of cause. I think last month was ACLU. The month before that was autism. Each month I give away to something, and then I give away a free. As you see, I'm giving away a free, I think, PlayStation. So last month was an Xbox. I give away something free every month. So all they have to do is follow, and then that helps get followers and brings awareness.
Yeah.
And
is there a Facebook page? Is there a Facebook page for that?
Yeah, there is a Facebook page for Yogomi. Yeah.
Okay, because I was on the website cruising around.
Yeah, there's a Facebook page for it, and a lot of the same content is on there.
Yeah. Well, you got to do that nowadays.
Yeah, you got a Facebook. You got to have. The only thing that I still just don't get, man, is I still just don't get Snapchat.
How much do you think? Well, and there's other shit just like them. That was,
yeah, I mean, now it made sense that Instagram put that in their app. That makes sense. But now I have a whole separate app. I don't ever use it. But I don't know.
I don't know, dude. It's crazy. I mean, it's basically how simple Twitter got started. Like whoever thought it would be anything. Yeah. Now look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all out there.
Speaking of all these social channels, dude, there's a picture of you hugging the fucking Captain America shield.
Oh yeah. Is that where I went to bed with it?
Yeah, dude. That's the best, man.
That Fan Expo was this past weekend. And I've been wanting one of those shields for 5 years. I went to
awesome, dude. The one with you and R2D2.
Yeah, I went to Fan Expo about 5 years ago, and I saw that shield and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so awesome. I was like, man, and then he told me how much it was, and I was like, I'm gonna have to think about it. So this year I pulled the trigger and I bought it, and it's like metal. The thing where he's like,
it looks metal.
It is like the real deal.
So this is at your house, dude?
Yeah. Yeah.
You get R2D2 as well?
Oh, no. So that's the next thing. I might try to get someone to make me an R2D2.
That R2D2 you're in the picture with looks insane.
Oh, dude, there's a video. I don't know if the video was on there, but that thing was like walking around and making noises and like rolling around and bothering people. It was the coolest thing.
If you're listening and not watching this, go check out Go Yogomi. It's facebook.com/Go Yogomi.
If they do a search for Yogomi, they'll find it. And yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. Each year, some guys there with their R2 units. There was a black one, and they changed the colors up on it. But yeah, those things are just so cool. It was rolling around and beeping and all that stuff. It was
dude, I'm just bugging on. My nerd out in that arena anyway is like I got into working with this local fab shop here doing CNC machine cutouts of my characters from my album art.
Oh yeah,
dude, it's so addictive, man. Like you do one, and then and I learned something new about the capabilities of CNC. Like every time I'm in there, and then the guy's like, "Oh, we could do this," and like, "No, I didn't know you could do that. Let me. If I had known that, I would have designed it different." And he's like,
"Right,
sorry, man." And so
there's actually a big toy making culture. It's pretty big here in Dallas too. So they have this show every year. I believe it's called Vinyl. I think it's called Vinyl Thoughts is what it's called. And everyone brings their little money or their little dolls, and they basically they all get a blank doll or a blank little money or character, and then they totally redesign it, and then they bring it to the show. And they show it. I should probably put those. That's a good one to put the photos.
Dude, I had boxes of. I had a phase where I collected. I always just called them adult vinyl toys, which
that's what they are. Yeah.
But that's what they are. I know it sounds funny if you don't know this culture exists, but there's a whole entire Like if you say that to somebody that collects these things, they know exactly what you're talking about.
Right, but if you go, hey, what do you do? Oh, I collect adult vinyl toys. Really?
Yeah. But like when you said money, I hadn't heard that word in a long time. But
yeah,
the Kid Robot was kind of, I guess, popularized the most.
Yeah, big kickoff of that culture.
Yeah, but there's so many really cool artists out there making short run 100. Whatever, doing their own variations on pop culture and all these things. It's really cool. So I guess that's kind of that was probably 10 years ago when I had that freak out, and I've still got like 5 or 6 boxes. I mean, Frank, dude, I have a whole entire sneakerhead collection of miniature shoes with real laces and soles. Dude, I would comb the internet, man. This is when I lived in New York. I would like comb the internet looking for these I forgot who made them, but it was a particular artist, and he basically made like, they were like quarters, 1/8 scale tennis shoes. And then they made all the things that like if you're a sneakerhead that has real human sized shoes, you can buy all kinds of like plastic containers so they don't get dusty and whatever. Right. They have all this stuff for these little tiny sneakers.
That's funny because I don't know if you also know this. I'm the official DJ for Kickspo, which is the largest streetwear sneaker expo in the United States. My friend started it here in Dallas,
I didn't know.
In a small hole in the wall bar, and then we've done it at Dallas Cowboy Stadium. We've done it at convention centers. I think we're doing it at the fairgrounds this year. But something like that would be like people would eat that stuff up at Kickspo.
Yeah, I mean, I have easily 50 pairs of sneakers, and I probably have 30 that have never been worn.
Wow. Yeah, I'm a big sneaker
weird addiction, man. And then I have the miniatures too. So it's like, yeah, I had to stop, dude. They're expensive. I had to stop.
Yeah. I actually just got my first pair of Jordans this past year. Never owned a pair of Jordans. Yeah. Got some.
I went bananas. One of my favorite shoe brands is Vans, and they I really like their high tops. They're very comfortable and
I buy new Vans every year, so yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about. Like they've got their staple classics, but they've also kind of gone off the deep end with some really sweet, like some endorsement deals with like Toy Story movie characters that they're like redesigned. They're like official Toy Story, but they're redesigned by like Nightmare Before Christmas or something.
Yeah.
And then like some quilted pattern ones, just weird stuff, dude, that you wouldn't have thought.
They had that OTW thing going for a while. They were trying to do sort of like a high fashion, which I really liked it.
What was that? Who's that with?
It's Vans. It's another line they have called OTW.
Oh, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, well, it's basically off the wall, but it's just on the tag just says OTW, so it's more of the high fashion streetwear stuff. Which I really liked them, but they seem.
Well, Adidas kind of did that with their thing was 3, right?
Yeah, but now I don't know if you've looked at Adidas lately. Their classic line, their classic stuff is like this whole new like futuristic look now.
Yeah, the shell toe ones with the the dazzle on it. I want them so bad.
I bought a pair of these running shoes that they have now.
Yeah.
And, but they're not in the performance line. They're in the classic line, and they look like this total like futuristic like running shoe, which I think is kind of cool that they're changing things up. Because now here's what's funny about that.
For your 5K.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about it is a lot of the Kickspo guys are Jordan. They're Jordan fans, every year they all got their Jordans on. And then the last few years, I started noticing that they were changing more to like joggers, like Asics, like classic, hard to find Asics or something like that. Or this past year, a lot of them were wearing Adidas. And I was like, whoa. And for the first time, I switched. I would always wear Adidas, and I wore Nikes this past year, a pair of custom pairs that I got from England. But now I see why they're switching, because Adidas is coming up with this new look and style, but it's under their classic line, which it looks like it would be under the performance. And it looks really cool.
Well, this is cool. I just looked this thing up, Kickspo, KIXPO.com.
Yeah, KIXPO.com, yeah.
That's pretty sweet, dude.
Yeah.
July 22nd. Huh.
That's the next one. Yeah, it's here in Dallas.
Dude, I'm gonna have to Southwest my ass over to you and hang out.
And I think you would totally dig it, man. It's just this huge convention, and I mean, there's all kinds, and there's everything from clothes to sneakers to we have performances. I DJ at it the whole time, and I take care of all the audio. It's a good time, man. And it's the biggest sneaker streetwear expo in the United States. And like I said, it started in a hole in the wall in Deep Ellum, and next thing you know, we're in the Dallas Cowboy Stadium, or I think we did in Bomb Factory last year, and then this year we're doing it at the fairgrounds.
Oh shit! I'm gonna be in Canada. I was seriously looking at my calendar, like I'm gonna go get a ticket, man, and I'm actually gonna be in Canada.
Oh well.
Which is also gonna be awesome. So I can't really.
Yeah, I can't complain about that. I love Canada.
Oh, you know what? No, wait. The weekend after I'm in Canada, 28th.
There you go.
21st, 22nd is this thing. Oh, I might be able to do it.
Kelly, you should come down.
I'm going while we're tripping on crazy things, which is, dude, it's so funny talking to someone you've known so long and haven't talked to you for a while. I'm going to Burning Man. It'll be my 4th time this year, and but this year I'm going to help I'm going to do a couple things, but the thing I'm really stoked about is go look up the bigimagination.org. Hit that website real quick. And I don't know if you've heard about this crew, but they're the ones that they're bringing a full 747 out to Burning Man.
What?
Yeah, did you hit the website?
Oh yeah.
So I met this crew out at Burning Man a couple years back, and then they kind of started doing this, and I didn't really see them much, but then they called me up and were like, hey, we need some people to come spend 3 weeks out here before Burning Man even starts to help build this thing.
Wow.
And I'm kind of, like, I got a pretty handy background, like construction.
Right.
I knew these guys more from that. And these guys taught me how to tie like ropes and all these cool knots and shit when I was out at Burning Man. So anyway, we just kind of hit it off. They're all engineer nerds. And
that's crazy.
Anyway, they hit me up and I was like, oh my God, 3 weeks. I got to be in the desert though. Like, I'm like, and then another week for Burning Man. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, that's another area where you guys have got me beat, because I just don't know if I can do it, man.
Wes is going to be a total wook when he gets back.
So I'm totally thinking like
he's so heady.
But I mean, dude, like Frank. I mean, how could someone like me pass this up? It was like,
yeah, I'm such a wimp though, man. I'm such a wimp. I'm like, we're in the desert. I'm like, do they have room service out here? Because I
mean, Burning Man.
How bad I am.
I can see you passing up if your feeling is it's basically a party and it's out in the desert. But
yeah, you know me. I don't drink. I don't do
anything. Skipping a year anyway, but this came up and I was like, oh man, I wasn't even gonna go.
It is cool though. That is pretty cool.
So I went from not going to going for 4 weeks.
Jeez. That is crazy.
Yeah, buddy.
I'll let
Kelly, do you go to Burning Man, Kelly?
Yeah, I haven't been I didn't go last year, but I went the 2 years before that.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I was not a camper at all. And then I decided I would go to a couple regional things and buy, like a tent. I do not. I'm a little bit fancy, but not that fancy. So yeah, I do it right.
That's my problem.
Yeah, it's dusty. I mean, you're gonna be dirty.
Yeah. I had to do a festival just in Austin.
Are you going this year, Kelly?
I applied for a ticket. I don't know. It depends. If I get a ticket, if not, I'm gonna bounce out to Outlook.
Okay.
In Croatia, or maybe Sun and Bass in Sardinia, Italy.
Oh.
It's all drum and bass the entire time.
That's the thing, is there's so many there's really some great, music gatherings across the world. And
sure.
And it does cost. I mean, Burning Man is definitely exceptional among the things I've been to, but I know there's other things, that are interesting as well.
I want to do it
It's
all.
it's a challenge, man.
Yeah.
It's both financially, both financially and all of it. It's a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I could be away that long, number one. And number two, no room service.
Well, you don't have to be away that long. You can do a weekend.
Yeah.
You're not
I'm
gonna.
just a wimp. That's all it is. I'm not camping for anybody, and it just doesn't sound like fun. And I'm sure it is, but
No, Frank, it really isn't. If you started your journey on this planet in Lawton, Oklahoma, and you really never went camping, it's probably not that fun.
No, camping for us is a week of camp at the YMCA, which was basically day camp. And then the very last night, I think it was the Friday of that week, was the one night that we camped out, and then our parents came and picked us up the next day. So yeah, that's the extent of camping.
A lot of swimming.
Yes, lots of swimming. We'd hang out in the woods during the day and then head back and swim actually at the YMCA, not in a lake. So yeah.
Maybe we'll all go camping at like Disney World one day.
There we go. I could do that.
Oh, it's awesome, man. That's funny, dude. Well, geez, what time is it, dude? We've been on here almost 2 hours.
9:11.
We're going old school. I missed the last show. I completely forgot. And Kelly and the Square Pegs guys from North Carolina hung out for a while. Yeah, I can't believe I did that. Like, this is episode 27 right here.
Wow, that's great. That's cool, man. I gotta start watching these.
Yeah, whenever you have absolutely nothing to do, you can go find any one of 27 shows.
Well, I work pretty much from home the whole time. I'm doing a lot of creative direct. I'm a designer, so I do a lot of creative direction. But I've gotten more into developing now. So I'm the rare designer that knows how to do front end development.
Yeah, right.
So I work from home quite a bit. So I actually have found the time to follow and listen to things like this that I never really listened to before, because either somebody around me was making a lot of noise, or just the noise of being in an office and then having people pulling you away. And even now, people can pull me away. I've been pulled onto 2 different projects, but it's all virtual.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm still in my environment, and I can have whatever I want going on the screen here in my studio. But
or even we podcast it too, so you can get it if you do any podcasts. If you just want to listen, there's some pretty funny ones in there, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check them out. I'm glad you had me on. It's good to catch up.
Fun moments.
It's like no time has passed. Each other.
Oh yeah, man. We could keep going and going, man.
Right now.
This is like I haven't worn out the battery on my laptop in a while, so I'm reaching. But that's awesome, man. So you got any other shows? I know you got the shoot thing coming up later, but any other shows you want to shout out or something before?
I've got my breaks night, which actually the breaks night is not this weekend, but next weekend, and they should definitely follow look for DJ Love on Facebook, because I do broadcast live from the club every breaks night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I broadcast live every
what's your Facebook handle?
I think it's DJ. You could do a search for DJ Love, but I think it might be DJ Love Stellar Music.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, DJ Love Stellar Music.
Yeah, DJ Love Stellar Music. Yeah.
And so I broadcast every chance I get. If they have Wi-Fi, I'm going to broadcast. And so I do broadcast every breaks night, and I will be broadcasting next Friday. Now, like I said, I am moving into Chew TV, but from Ustream. But people can just log in and listen. It's all stereo. When I broadcast from here, what's that?
Breaks.
Yeah, breaks.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, I'm doing this fundraiser thing. It's a Ghostbuster thing.
Containment breach.
Yeah, containment breach that I'm teaching for.
So. Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah, and then
there's Uber Zone right there next to it. Did you see that? Sorry, right next to it, there's Uber Zone. People may also you might not see that though.
Oh yeah, Uber Zone. What's up with those guys? I haven't talked to them in forever.
Absolutely nothing, dude. Because we were laughing before you came on because I.
Oh, he wasn't on for that. Okay, my bad.
I went to your Facebook page and then it recommended Uberzone, so it's like, oh, that's cool. So I go over there, and it's like there's a post from like June of 2013.
That's so funny. You see the same thing that I do too.
Yeah, I think I saw a picture of Jeff. Simply Jeff added me as a friend on Facebook like just about a month ago. And I hadn't talked to him in years, so we kind of caught up. And I saw a picture that he just posted recently of him and Q.
Oh, okay, so I guess Uberzone is. Yeah, I'm sure he's making music, doing something.
Yeah, and I think I text or talked to Davey Dave like a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, those guys.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I mean, in an interesting way, it's crazy how like, you know, I guess people just. Maybe it's interest or money or whatever happens that sort of leads them to, you know, no longer make music or do it or whatever. When they, you know, because I saw Uberzone live once, man, and it was like,
yeah, I opened for them here.
I mean, I swear at the time, I certainly felt like it was one of the most amazing things I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think it was serious talent, right? Like, so it's like, it makes me wonder, like, what? I guess it just trends and things change, you know.
Mm-hmm. And he's got some great records, man. I mean, like the stuff he did with Rennie Pilgrim. I mean,
Well, Rennie Pilgrim's off like doing photography or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean,
did any of those guys make like big money? I mean, I don't know personally. I'm just curious. Like, do you think any of them?
I mean, if you think about it,
what?
Well, when you think about it, think about the guys. I mean, Crystal Method. Those guys got stuff licensed, right? I mean. There was a Gap commercial.
Oh, yeah, they got paid.
Right? Yeah, that Gap commercial.
But then there, you know, Kelly Reverb. If you listen at the end of Blade, Southside Reverb comes on. Go Get On It. They took the samples out, but so I asked him about that, and he said that he kind of got raked over the coals on that. So he didn't really make. I don't think he did very well. So I think it's just a matter of those people who just get hooked in and continue to do well, continue to get stuff licensed. They got a good agent. You know, I've had a few things licensed, but nothing that just really hooked in. But the thing is, though, is I guess I didn't start DJing to be famous, right? I mean, I started in Lawton, Oklahoma. There was no path to fame from there. I never really,
But I'm fairly convinced there's only so much you can do to will it to be famous. Anyway.
Right.
You know,
right.
Exactly. It's just. So many people are trying. It's like I can't be convinced that the people at the top are either talented or not talented. You know, like
right.
It's just too hard to tell. Like you just can't.
It's being at the right place at the right time, knowing the right people. You know,
when I got a few opportunities to hang out with the Crystal Method, like a year back and maybe 1 to 2 years back for across the course of that year, played a gig or two with them, some shows, stuff. They're interesting. They told me that they had the same manager that convinced them to do the Gap commercial licensing. The same manager their entire career.
Wow.
Apparently the guy moved to like 3-4 different agencies, but they always went with him everywhere.
Wow. Hey, look.
That's crazy, dude. That's like 22 years of the same manager, right? So, but you're right. To that point, it's like, you know, that's a relationship that is rare.
But those guys are talented, right? Those guys are talented.
Yeah.
And like, I've tweeted this.
Absolutely. But I'm saying it even if there's 100 extremely talented people at the top, my point is like, I'm not debating if someone is talented or not. I'm just saying that regardless, whatever's at the top it's almost not up to talent at that point.
Right. That exactly. Right.
That's all I'm saying, because the pile below is so thick.
Yeah. 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 And that's you're exactly right, because there's no telling what's in that pile below. There could be even amazing talent down there too.
It's like a 6-foot ant pile, right? It's like.
I mean, it also has gotten a little bit more to the point where it's like pop music, and all you really need to do is come up with that catchy hook, and you know, and if you've got that, then you become viral, and then it doesn't matter if you're talented.
Well, it could. I mean, no, you're totally right, and the nature of things has certainly changed in that regard. But Yeah, I get my only point was like just the nature of a there's almost an art to there must almost be an art to a manager, artist, producer,
the marketing aspect.
Because I mean, to me that's pretty clear. If you're talented like the Crystal Method, you get that first break from a manager, and then you don't just stay together for money. I mean, come on.
Right.
You know, like, because anybody at 21 years of doing anything, shoveling dirt, you're going to have ups and downs in terms of your quality, right?
Right.
Or just perception of the person you're shoveling dirt for, whatever, you know? Yeah. So to stay together that long, there's almost an art to the relationship of having a good manager, you know?
Yeah.
And an artist that's not so crazy that they go off the deep end, you know, like, yeah. So.
I never had a manager my whole career, unfortunately. No part of an agency or anything. Never had one.
Neither have I. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's never really presented itself, I guess. Nah. But it's. I don't know if it did, I'd probably try it. You know.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, but I'm not convinced that. I'm not convinced that seeking out a manager is necessarily going to be the best use of my time.
I'd rather them come to me because they see something than me like, hey, I got something, do something with it, you know?
Yeah, I think your chances of success are far better if they find you. And I don't mean in a almost like we were talking about these big artists finding you for a remix. You know, it's not a chest puffing thing. It's just if a quality manager finds you and is interested, then it's probably going to be a very 50-50 real conversation about how to both people do each other some good. Right.
Exactly.
You know? So.
I'm not sure that relationship always works in this scene too. You know, like if you say, like you always tell people to go to your website if they want to book you, and that's something different. But I think that it puts off people when you're like, oh, we'll go to my manager for that. When you know it's a relationship business. It really is a relationship business. So if you put them off to somebody, you might not get the same opportunity.
True.
Or you could get a whole shitload of other opportunities. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on the level, I guess. I mean, I know, there has to be, you get talent, but talent can only do so much looking for movie soundtrack scores,
That's true.
That is true. And those are deals that make a lot of money. So you can
oh yeah. Yeah, in my job, man, I tell you.
Those guys are also based out of LA. The majority of their career. I mean, they started in Vegas, but they quickly moved to LA, and it was a great time. There's all kinds of timing that goes into it. It's just a great time for them to be talented and doing what they're doing. Yeah,
in my career, when I did a bunch of commercial stuff for Samsung, we would license music. I mean, there were some people like $300,000 for a song just to use the song. $300,000.
Yeah.
I never see that kind of money from all the songs I've ever produced.
Well, there's no doubt. Like, for me, there's no doubt. Like the best I've ever done on a single project is the video game. So
dude, I think the most money. Funny thing about it is the most money I've made on my music was ringtones in Japan.
Nice.
Ringtones in Japan. It was a few years back. It was a company in London. Licensed about 6 of my songs, and I started getting these fat little checks that coming in the mail from people downloading my songs in Japan. It's crazy. Nice. But that ended pretty quick as soon as I figured out, we can make these.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Awesome.
Good catching up, huh?
Hell yeah, man. I hope I can make it out to the Kicks thing.
Expo. I'll keep reminding you. You got a place to crash, so
I might can squeeze it in. So that could be awesome, dude.
Yeah, cool. Let me know.
Kelly, thanks so much for getting us sorted out technically, getting us together, hanging out for a little bit. As usual, making sure I showed up. Making sure Frank showed up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, not again. Oh.
No, hey Frank, man, stay classy, yo.
You guys have a good night. Stay classy, yo.
All right, guys.
Have a good one. We'll